All right, so we're diving deep into Nollywood today, and let me tell you, the stuff you send over about this hit film, The Ghost and the Tout Too, well, let's just say, I'm hooked already. Ghosts, comedy, a woman in a coma trying to figure out who poisoned her. Talk about high stakes.
Oh, yeah, it's got it all.
For folks who might not be familiar with Nollywood, it's the Nigerian film industry, and it's absolutely exploding, not just in Nigeria, but globally.
Huge, yeah.
And this film was a smash. First in Nigeria, then it went international when it hit Netflix. So what is it about The Ghost and the Tout Too that's got everyone talking?
I think one of the most interesting things about this film is how it just blends genres so seamlessly.
Right, you got the ghost, the comedy, the drama.
Exactly, and they don't just exist alongside each other, they actually enhance each other. For example, there's this one scene, right? Isla, our protagonist, she can talk to ghosts.
Our ghost whisperer.
Yeah, she's trying to get information from this ghost, but the ghost is being super stubborn, throwing a tantrum, refusing to cooperate. It's played for laughs. But, underneath the humor, you're also learning about the ghost's emotional state, why they're stuck, what's keeping them from moving on.
Okay, so the humor isn't just there for comic relief.
Yeah.
It's adding another dimension to the story.
Exactly. It's really clever writing, and I think that blend of genres is one of the things that makes this film stand out. Not just in Nollywood, but, in general. It's not just a straight-up ghost story. It's not just a slapstick comedy. It's got this mystery element running through it. Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Definitely. Now, we got to mention, this isn't Isla's first rodeo. This is actually a sequel to another hit, The Ghost and the Tout. So, audiences were already familiar with her and her world. But in the review you send over, it mentions they use traditional and modern cinematic techniques in the film. What does that even mean?
So Nollywood, visually, it's really evolved. It's embracing these more dynamic camera techniques, special effects. Even the color palettes are becoming richer and more complex.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and in The Ghost and the Tout too, they use a lot of handheld camera shots during the intense scenes. Gives you that sense of immediacy, like you're right there in the middle of the action. But then when Isla's communicating with the ghosts, everything shifts. You get these subtle fades, ethereal lighting. It creates a totally different mood.
So they're using those visual cues to signal to the audience, like, okay, get ready for this.
Right, exactly. And that's something you're seeing more and more in Nollywood films, this emphasis on using these cinematic techniques to really enhance the storytelling.
It's like another layer of communication, beyond just the dialogue.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, we've got to talk about the cast. They snagged Toyin Abraham for this, one of Nollywood's biggest stars.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think her being in the film contributed to its success? I mean, some folks might say it's all down to star power.
I mean, yeah, she is phenomenal in the role, no question. She brings this real depth to Isla, balances that humor and vulnerability that Isla has. Toyin Abraham's performance definitely elevates the film, but to say it's all star power, I think that's a bit simplistic. Yeah,
it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, it takes away from the script, which is super tight. The director, Michael Akinrogunde, he directed the first film too.
So there's that consistency that vision carries through.
Exactly. And that's really important, especially with a sequel. The audience knows what to expect, the tone, the style.
Well, it all makes sense. So we can see how all these elements of the film come together.
Okay.
But what do you think propelled this to international success? Why do you think it resonated with audiences beyond Nigeria?
Well, I mean, first of all, ghosts, the supernatural, that's a universal language.
Right. Everyone's got ghost stories.
Exactly. I mean, every culture has them, and they tap into our primal fears, our fascinations. I think this film, it goes beyond just spooky thrills. It explores these themes of loss, of justice, the importance of family, and those are things that everyone can relate to, It doesn't matter where you come from.
And Isla, I mean, she's such a strong, likable character. She's not waiting around for someone to rescue her.
Absolutely. She's got agency. She takes charge. She solves problems. I think that's a big part of the film's appeal, especially for audiences who might be looking for something different than your typical Hollywood heroine.
So what we have here is captivating supernatural mystery, relatable characters, sharp humor, all brought to life by this incredibly talented cast and director. No wonder this film was a hit. But before we wrap things up, I got to leave you with something to ponder. What do you think it is about ghost stories in general that resonates with people all over the world? And what is it about this particular story that makes it so captivating? Maybe it's the blend of genres, the strong characters, something else entirely. I encourage everyone listening, check out the film. Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
All right, until next time.